And we are live. Welcome to the Rome Show. How you doing, Sarah?
Pretty good. How are you today?
I'm doing good. It's hot out. How's the weather where you at?
It is hot here as well. Yes, it was cooler for a little bit and now it's back up in the 90s.
Oh yeah, that's hot. I think it's like
Mhm.
70 out here. And you're an hour behind. Where are you located?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, Texas. Okay.
Yes. And you're New York based? Or which?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Yep. It's like 2 hours from New York.
Yes, I'm familiar with the area. I had a sister who lived, or I have a sister who lived in Westport for a few years.
Okay, that's a nice part too, Westport.
It is. Yeah. They live in Manhattan now, but
Nice. So for the people on my platform that don't know, can you tell them like about your brand and what you do a little bit?
absolutely. So it's fairly new still. It's a little bit over a year, but I've been in healthcare industry for 20 odd years in various sales positions. My latest for 6 years was with HCA. It's a Hospital Corporation of America, in business development, recruiting physicians in, really growing service lines, and ultimately trying to help the physicians grow and meet each other. One of the things that I was most passionate about in what I do is connecting the physicians so that they're talking to each other when a patient they share a patient or they send a referral over to a specialist that the patient needs. I think it's really important for the physicians to have each other's cell phone numbers, to be connected, to really put a face to the name. A lot of notes and whatnot go into the EMRs, whether it's in the hospital. They'll send a referral for a follow up, but rarely does that physician always know where their patient ended up. So my passion was to make sure that they're talking so they're prepared when the patient goes in. I mean, taking care of aging parents and my father with chronic illnesses for years, it just became very apparent that it's a needed service and it's needed for them to connect. And a lot of physicians just don't have the time to take to connect with others. If
Right.
that
So
makes
basically, yeah, you the one that's connecting the dots, making sure everybody's communicating.
yes,
Nice. That's
everyone's
needed.
It is. I mean, I think each patient needs an advocate, and I'm not necessarily working with on the patient side. I'm working on the physician side. But I think when people either get admitted to the hospital and they need a follow up from something that they had in the ER, or if they are in post acute care and inpatient rehab and they have an ailment, I mean, there's physicians on staff in every center where they could utilize friendships and knowledge of who's around where the patient lives and who they can get them into.
Nice. And does that connect to SB Network or that's something outside of that?
Yeah, that's SB Network. So that's why I created SB Network was with that vision in mind of really the gaps in healthcare and a lot of unnecessary, whether it's visits or they get one referral and they're like, well, you didn't need to see an ENT. You actually needed to see a head and neck surgeon or whatever it is. It just, I've seen family and friends get passed along from specialist to specialist, and 6 months down the road, they're finally getting a diagnosis that may or may not have been detrimental to them, and they could have saved that time and their health if they were given the right referral in the first time they were referred out.
Right. Communication is key. I feel like a lot of
It's
people don't communicate fully.
That's very true. They don't communicate. And even in offices, even on the hospital side, it's like you'd have offices say, I didn't get the notes when my patient was in the hospital, or I wasn't alerted, or I didn't get the follow up notes. I sent my patient to go see a neurosurgeon, and I don't know if they went, if they didn't go, what was said. So when they see the patient back, they feel unprepared if they haven't had the follow up or known the conditions that the patient may have found out.
Right. It's like we're in a time where like a lot of things is miscommunicated. So a lot of things don't get done or a lot of things get done wrong. It's crazy.
It is. And I think people in theory think, okay, this is the efficient way to communicate with one another. It's all automatic through fax or the note automatically gets sent. And if you aren't doing um, checks and process improvement in those areas, plenty of things get missed because people just keep going about, or there's turnover in their staff. I mean, there's a number of reasons why things don't get communicated, but I think even outside of this, like you said, communication's key, and people tend to assume and make a lot of assumptions versus what actually is happening.
Right. How do you feel? Do you think the communication is going to stay like this, or you think it'll improve at some point?
That's a good question. I go back and forth with some of the physicians and different practices. I work with a lot of independent groups that are not in corporate medicine, and it seems as if corporate medicine has really collectively with insurance made a lot of different metrics for box checking when they're in their EMR and their computer system to make sure that they get reimbursed, or they're referring within the network to make sure it goes to a system that physician's in, and then the case gets done there. I feel like it might get worse before it gets better, but I would
Right.
hope that, um, and I don't want to badmouth insurance companies or anything. It's the collective problem, right? Like there's so many issues with what's going on. I just feel that the patient's getting squeezed higher premiums every month. The physician's getting squeezed with lower reimbursements every month. It's what the solution is not easy one for sure. I'm not going to say that or think that I want to go put the documents in place wherever it starts in the government side. But I know that who's hurting is the patient itself financially, the physicians who aren't getting reimbursed to try to stay afloat in their practices when they've decided to have their own business per se, because it's their private practice and their passion themselves. I would like to see it get better, right? Like I would like that um, there's enough noise made and some revisions when whether or not it's premiums or reimbursements for the
Right.
physician side.
And not just like in the hospitals, like outside different places. Do you think that it's intentional, like deliberately, the lack of communication? Like, for example, sometimes you could try to have a conversation with somebody or tell somebody something, or they'll ask you a question, and like they're choosing to like not even care to hear it, and it's like they talk about something else, or you know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you're saying, and I think there is a lot of like gloss over. I mean, they're thinking about how they're going to respond before they're even listening to what maybe the problem is. Um, there's several layers. I think one of, and I wish I could quote it, and I should have looked it up if I was even going to say it, but there was a graph that I saw not too long ago, and it was talking about um, the different layers in corporate medicine. Like we're adding administration, we're adding um, more on the administrative side on both the insurance and the hospitals and everything else. So then we're adding more layers. The money to those salaries is growing, whereas we're still reimbursing physicians less and less each year. But
It's crazy.
it's like, where does the gap go with the month? I mean, you think about what people pay every month.
Right. What's one thing that you haven't done yet with SB Network that you want to do?
I think organize it and grow it in a way where I could have a team of my own. I've kept it pretty close with clients, groups that I've known or known of, and then luckily with trust over the years, that's who my clientele is. I do think that there's a lot to be said for more on my team. I do have somebody who I've known was in pharmaceutical sales with, met 20 years ago, and she works on my team about one day a week because she helps with their grandkids during the week. But I think having more people that are passionate about connecting the physicians and then going into primary care and saying, okay, what are your needs? And I'll even do that now. And I think it could be a business on its own, but the family practice, especially offices that I visit, are looking for, okay, what specialist do you know takes X, Y, and Z insurance? And because I worked in a healthcare system that took most insurances, it's like it's a quick lookup for me on, okay, try this office, try this office, try that office. I do think that that could be grown and expanded. There are several hospitals that have their own physician sales team that they are out and about helping physicians who are new to market, but there's so much more that could be done to make it more personal. And the rest is still being invented in some ways, right?
All right.
I bet.
Nice. It'll happen. Keep going.
Thank you. I have so many questions for you too, but I think this is your show, so um, I'll have to
I,
learn more about you as well.
I got a couple more. How do you get through a bad day?
So, besides being a business owner, I have four teenagers in the house. Um, and I
No.
think just through different interactions, I try really hard and I'm not always successful, but to take everything with what I can control and what I can't. And most of the things during my day I can't. So, what I can control is okay, here's my attitude. What am I going to do with it? How can I, even if whatever happened is horrible, like, okay, what did I learn from it? So I try hard to look for the silver linings in bad days. I'm not always scoring 100 there, but that's how I attempt to get through a bad day.
It's all good. How do you stay motivated during challenging times?
When I'm having any struggle being motivated, I will try to fill up my calendar with other business owners in healthcare or areas to have idea sessions like brainstorming and think about other people that I could meet, other people we could touch. Planning an event like in a couple nights from now, we have a physician and healthcare mixer and getting different organizations and post acute care, inpatient rehab, senior living. I try to get motivated with new ideas, and the best way to come up with those is bouncing off with other people or meeting new people.
Nice. It'll happen. It's hard.
It's a lot of work.
Time management and staying busy too.
Yeah, staying busy and keeping things on the calendar when I'm not motivated is always good. Putting meetings for each client on the books every week, I mean, at least once a week, lunch or dinner meetings, or just go around and spend 2 hours shaking hands in different offices and areas.
Right.
I mean,
Super
I can
cool.
usually go all day in and out of offices, but if you're not used to the sales role, physicians tend to go about 2 hours is their sweet spot, 2 to 3 hours that they can handle going in and out.
That's long, but not long.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got to do a part two. We got the times mixed up. Um, I got another show coming up, but you said you had a few
Yeah.
questions, right?
Yeah. I just want to know more about you. I mean, what motivated you? How long have you been your own business owner with your own show? And love to know goals that you have too.
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing podcasting and media for about 6 years. I went to school for radio, TV. Um, I've been running my show for about 6 years now, and yeah, I'm trying to become like real successful in media, get my
Yeah.
show out there more, make a living off of it, 100%.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Let's keep in touch in any ways that I feel like we could help each other, or you could that you would need help of some sort. Not that you need help, but I think just helping good collaboration's key.
Yeah, maybe we can sponsor each other's business or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, we'll keep in touch. I know you have another show to get on. I appreciate you fitting me in with the. I never know with time zones and whatnot. What's on the calendar, the right time. So
All right, appreciate it. We'll definitely keep in touch.
okay, talk soon.
All right, take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace.